Ruben, just want to talk about your career really as a highly rated mechanic.
Yeah.
We'll start with this season. Kai de Wolf, world champion. I'm sure a big relief because this has been building year on year for him, and finally he got the title. You've obviously won titles before, but how was it with him?
Yeah, when we started last year, obviously it was a big change coming from Jeffrey. So I tried to implement as much as I could things that I've learned and things that I see with Kai that could improve. And last year we won our first GP, and the week after he broke his foot. So that was a bit of a shame, but we still fought through. And then before Lommel, he had a compression fracture in his back, so that set us back. And just to say that actually last year we were also on a good way. I'm not saying he was going to win it, but we were fighting also last year for it. And then obviously a long winter again, and trying to work on all different aspects, not only speed. I mean, Kai de Wolf was already a good rider. I think we all together just made him a little bit better, and that's what brought us the title this year.
And as a mechanic, you're kind of a mental coach. You have a lot of you have to have a good relationship with your rider.
Yeah.
How was that with Kai? Was it easy to get to know him and for him to sort of take on board what you're saying, as well as all the mechanical work?
Yeah, to be clear, I'm actually full-time his coach. So
right, you're coach. Oh, yeah.
So Kai has a practice mechanic and has a race mechanic, and we have a really good crew chief, Joel. So we all work together with Rasmus, and we just try to work on getting the package for Kai better. And of course, that relates sometimes to the bike. So we all sit together and bring him the best possible package. But my job is also to physically prepare him, mentally prepare him, and try to bring the best Kai de Wolf to the track, which is obviously not easy. But I mean, we did it this year, and I'm really, really proud of the steps that he made. You know, he surprised me in many occasions, and he stood up when he had to. Of course, in the end, it was a bit more difficult to manage that lead, and obviously you had a young gun from our team hunting him and going full gas, and so yeah, it was difficult to manage.
How was it for you seeing him start the season so strong and then have to manage that, as you said? It's a position he was never really in before.
No.
Did you see it difficult for him, or did you feel he coped quite well?
Kai was always smart enough to think about the big picture. Was winning the war, winning the world title. So yeah, you can win a fight, but it was for us all about winning the championship, you know. But Lucas was such a strong competitor that, yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy.
Did it make it more difficult because he was in the same team and both riders are going back to the same truck? And
I've had this situation before when I was working for Ben Townley in the US, and we were battling Villapoto all summer long in the outdoors. So, but here it was slightly different because Lucas is really, really close with the father. So yeah, we never had bad moments, you know. We never had bad feelings or anything. So it was just a nice fight, and when you can do it with the team, it's so much nicer also for me, you know, winning so many GPs, 16 out of 20 with the team. So it was a dream season.
And Kai's talent, I don't know how much we get to see of it, but potential to race. You probably see stuff he does on the practice track that blows your mind. I mean, he's amazing to watch in the sand. He's very loose on the bike. What's it like just working with him day to day and the stuff he can do in the practice?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you don't have to learn Kai de Wolf how to ride a motorcycle. It was all the other aspects to be a world champion that we had to work on. You know, you never have to explain him technical things on the bike because he's so gifted. And of course, when he's free during the week and there's not the pressure of the race, you see even more stunning things than what you see in a stressy GP situation or whatever. So yeah, he's just very gifted and talented. But like I said, we try to work on the other aspects to be a complete rider and to be a world champion.
Well, how does he compare as a person to Jeffrey Herlings at similar age, especially?
Yeah, it's a big change.
Right.
But I would say, you know, they are 10 or 12 year difference. So in those 10, 12 years, a lot has changed also just in normal life with normal kids. So they are quite a bit different. And it took me also 1 year to figure out which buttons to push for Kai to get the best out of him. And yeah, they were quite a bit different from Jeffrey, I would say, yeah.
Jeffrey's, especially when he was young, you've been with him basically his whole life for the last 2 years. Really aggressive, really kind of like a Hayden Deegan is now. People didn't see Jeffrey when he was young. Was that difficult for you to keep him not going different directions and keeping focused?
Kai or Jeffrey?
Jeffrey. How was that when you was young?
No, with Jeffrey, it was, we didn't need many words because we got together so young. So it was always basically hard work and doing more than others. That would make him mentally really, really strong.
And he was doing that himself, or were you?
Yeah, the last couple of years we did a lot of the physical stuff together. But in the beginning, I started as a mechanic for him. But you're spending so much time together that your mechanic role shifts into also being a mentor and a coach and a friend, and he's asking advice all the time because there's the two of you always together. And so also there I think we got the best out of Jeffrey all the time, you know.
You had a lot of high and lows, and you were so close to him. You were feeling that and experiencing that yourself. How difficult was that to come out of the dip and then come back to the old
Jeffrey is mentally so strong that any setback he can overcome, and we fought back so many times, you know, from bad injuries, and so I have a lot of respect for the way he always got up. You know, they knocked him down 10 times, but he stood up 11 times. So that heads off to that mental strength.
He's so much motivation, still has. Did you ever have to calm him down? Like, don't go out this Tuesday afternoon and ride. You've done enough or anything like that?
Try to manage that, but Jeffrey was very selfish. Like he would do what he'd think, and I could convince him to maybe adjust it a little bit. But in the end, it was always hard work and doing more than others that would make him feel strong going into the GP. Even though physiologically it wasn't maybe the best thing to do, but it's just mentally that made him so strong.
So that's what gave him the confidence that he deal with the work.
Whereas with Kai, it's the opposite. He needs to feel good. He needs to feel good, and when he don't need to ride during the week. As long as he feels good going into the weekend, first practice is good, bike feels good. That's
he wouldn't ride as much as Jeffrey.
No, not nearly as much. But I'll make him suffer in another way.
You mentioned Ben Townley there. How did he compare to Jeffrey and Kai? He's obviously very talented world champion and world champion, but the personal side and how he rode.
I think Ben was technically compared to Kai and Jeffrey a little bit less maybe, but he just was really strong mentally as well, and he could hurt himself really much, like in a mode, or he could be really hard on himself mentally to say, hey, I can't make this mistake, and he wouldn't make the mistake, and I need to suffer to try and be with Filippodo or beat him or whatever. So he was just he was really hard on himself, as was Jeffrey, as is Kai, but there's different degrees, I would say.
As a mechanic, there's so many rounds. Well, you know America as well. Did you get tired doing that? Your schedule was just pretty crazy as a mechanic.
I tell you one thing: as long as you're winning, you can get through it. But if you had to do this for 10 position, which a lot of people, not everybody can win, you know, it makes it harder. But I was lucky enough to be always in a position to be fighting for the podium, which is the ultimate goal, you know. Like, so I never really got tired because I was lucky enough to always fight for podiums.
How many times, hours a week would you get off? Would you get a day a week off or an afternoon off in the general GP?
I had so much. I have so much passion. I didn't care. We would do anything to win. You know,
just like Jeffrey,
especially
really?
With Jeffrey, it was really time consuming. Now with Kai and with the organization we have behind us, it's better. It's better. Like I get more time, and he rides a bit less, so it's less time on the road. So with Kai, it's probably the best mix I had. With Ben, when I was in the US, it was full commitment. I was living with him, so yeah.
Right, so you were just together.
I had no life. My life was motocross there, supercross there.
Does that take a lot out of, I know you love it, but does that take a lot out of you in terms of your life away from bikes? You miss stuff, or are you happy to be that?
When I get older now, you think about it more. But when with Ben, I was so young, I was so excited. All you wanted to do is to go out and work hard and try to be on the podium and challenge for championships. You know?
Do you prefer not being a mechanic now? Is that calmer, or you miss?
I really liked it. I really liked it. Training mechanic. I never liked race mechanic. I did a couple race mechanics with Jeffrey races, but I didn't like that. I think my strength was in being a practice mechanic because you're closer and you're talking about stuff, the bike, the lines, the training, the approach of how you're gonna do stuff. So I really like that, and I miss it sometimes, yeah. But now as a coach, it offers other jobs, and I really like it too. No dirty hands anymore. So yeah.
And did you ride yourself?
Yeah, I raced.
So-
Yeah. I raced 1 year of GPs, and then I had a bad accident, and so I had to quit. So
Was that difficult mentally to have to stop doing what you loved at that point?
yeah, at that point, yeah, because you don't know any different. But now, seeing so much and having seen so much, I was training really hard. If I compare it now, if I see things, but I just didn't have the mental strength to know that myself that I was good enough to do it.
And did that help you transition to mechanic, but more importantly, the relationship with the rider like Ben, Kai, and Jeffrey?
I think, yeah.
And you know what they're doing?
I think, yeah. I mean, I know what I was lacking to ever make something in motocross. I mean, I took a couple points that first season in the GPs, but I mean, yeah, I don't think you necessarily need to be a good former rider to be a good coach or understand what they need. It's such a sensitive sport in the sense of feeling good, and if they feel good, I mean, they all can ride a bike at this point.
Yeah. Well, say if you're riding GPs, you're probably a pretty
Yeah.
high level rider yourself. So again, just go through that probably helps with them. With Kai, obviously, there's the decision of moving 450 looming in the next couple of years, going to America. You kind of went through that with Jeffrey initially a wee
Yeah,
bit.
same story.
Same story, yeah.
Same
so
story.
You sound like you're like a sounding board for him and what to do.
I just advise him. I tell him things that my experience in America here. I tell him the pros and the cons, and he needs to decide in the end. I'm not pushing him for anything. Actually, we're going over to America in 2 weeks to have a bit of a supercross holiday.
Yeah. So you were like what Jorge?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Yeah, just to see it. He said if I'm world champion, we promised him, me and Rasmus, that he could do a full size supercross training, and the best is to go to the US.
And he wouldn't do what Prado did in race the first round.
No.
Was too risky.
No. The goal is to be world champion MX2 next year.
And Jeffrey done that, I think, when he was 15 or 16.
Yeah, I went with him. Yeah.
Easy to watch, hard to watch.
Yeah, Jeffrey thought he could learn it in 2 days, which obviously you can't. And I think Kai knows this a bit better. And yeah, for Kai, I think his future is in the GPs, but we can go out and try it and see what he feels.
Yeah, I think Mitch Payton had said he's keeping an eye on him to Steve Mathis, so obviously he's got eyes on him there.
Yeah.
So he has an option.
It's a small world.
That's it. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Ruben. Congratulations, not just this season, but also on a career with working with these elite champions. It says a lot about you that they want you in their corner as well.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Yeah, I have to thank Nesta and Husqvarna, Rasmus, and the team owner Kai Hennekes for having faith in me, and when they spoke with me after Jeffrey, and it worked out really well. 2 years later.
Just all that, was that a hard split because you've been together so long? Was it hard? Obviously, you knew Kai and everything, but just to make that transition from someone you were so lived every
people come and people go, and in life things happen, and it's no bad feelings. I get along really good with Jeffrey, and I'm really, really happy today where I am. So it's all good.
Thank you very much.
No worries.